Somebody named themselves Jordy's curved thumb. Stupid.
Experience BPD things almost daily.
Shut up about BPD. Shut up.
Come on, like the stream for my curved thumb.
Hey everyone, if you felt crazy after watching everything unfold last week, you're not alone. Trust me, I'm feeling it myself. There's been so much coming out, it's been really hard to keep up. Between reactions and live streams and the podcast with Casey and now Amber's last live stream on Thursday, it has just all been overwhelming. Amber's live was hard for me to watch. It brought up a lot of emotions I've had to confront. Her language, outlook, and how she twists everything was very triggering. And some of it was clearly an attempt to attack my character and discredit me and what I've said about her. Because of that, I had to comb through everything she said, take notes, and try my best to wrap my head around what was going on. Reaction channels have really helped so much with that, and it's difficult seeing so many people watch her lie about me and others while trying to manipulate the narrative. But they remember things even I don't remember sometimes, and getting the outside...
Something that Beck just touched on about Amberlynn trying to spin the narrative. Something that Amberlynn did a lot in that live stream that they just referenced here in this video. Amberlynn likes to discredit things that are, in my opinion, irrelevant. Or she tries to look for a little something and then make it seem like because she disproved that or because she was able to cast doubt on that very irrelevant piece of information, that person is a complete and total liar. Well, they didn't tell you the whole truth about this, or, well, there was something that they left out about what they said about this, or, well, yeah, I set a timer for this, that, and the other thing, but I didn't set a timer for this. So, I mean, if there is doubt in that part of their story, I mean, really, what can you believe about any that they say? Amberlynn loves to do that. Find a little crack in the foundation and try to exploit it and be like, well, look, everything's fake. Everything's a lie. Everything that Beck has come on here and said, you guys can't, no, there was no wiping. There were no timers. Beck lied about this minor thing that I'm twisting right now. So really, everything's a lie.
Perspective has been incredibly important and enlightening. I've been trying to keep myself from having to address her directly most of the time. I did consider making this video at her specifically, but when I was writing this, I found out that she wasn't who I wanted to talk to. I wanted to tell you what I thought and what I'm feeling. This is all really...
Exactly. Teardrop. We always kind of thought that Beck was the lost city of Atlantis in terms of having information against Amber that could really bury her, and it is finally coming to light. And honestly, after everything that happened with Emily, the decline that Amberlynn is on over the past year and a half with everything that's happened with Erica and Brittany, Emily, Rarity, like so much shit has gone on the past year and a half. Now that we are segueing in to this look back at season 4 that we all knew was still there. It was really like a doormat volcano. It is finally erupting, and the lava is going everywhere, and no one is here to wipe it up.
Yes, I've talked about our past relationship before, but not to the extent I have the last month or so. And I've been on YouTube in the past, but I've never had this amount of support behind me until recently. Now with more public support comes more attention and more expectations. I knew talking about her again would bring a lot of eyes my way, and I don't want to let anyone down, but I can't stand by and let fear stop me from talking about what I went through and bringing awareness to covert narcissism and mental, emotional, and financial abuse. All abuse survivors deserve to be advocated for, whether it is physical or psychological. Amber herself was once a victim of abuse. in her childhood, but she has continuously weaponized her trauma.
Oh my God. Is there anything that she doesn't fit the shoe of? I mean, looking at all of this right now, I mean, really, is there anything that Amber Lynn doesn't fit the Cinderella shoe of? I mean, this mold was specifically made for her. I mean, isolation. That has been a key term in what we've been talking about recently in terms of how Amber Lynn tried to isolate Beck from their friends, Beck from their family, Beck from reaction channels, Beck from anyone on the audience that may have been able to give them an outside point of view in terms of, oh, hey, well, I'm someone on the outside looking in, and I have an opinion that maybe you can't see being under the direct supervision of Amber Lynn. So Amber Lynn didn't want them watching reaction channels, didn't want them interacting with the internet, didn't want them hanging out with friends, because usually friends give other friends advice. They're usually someone that's like listening and they're an unbiased opinion and they're not involved. So had Beck been spending too much time in the basement playing GameCube with Eric and Ricky, you know, it may have come up, like maybe when they were playing Mario Party, Eric and Ricky were being like, Amber's horrible. Beck, I don't know why you put up with that. And so that's why the 30-minute timers. That's why the 40-minute timers. I don't want you spending too much time with your family because they're going to get in your head and you're going to leave me. Isolation, economic abuse. I mean, shit, economic abuse. I mean, this goes along with the financial, taking Beck's inheritance, using money over their head, encouraging them not to work so that Amber Lynn can be the sole breadwinner, so that she can make all of the decisions, using intimidation. Amber Lynn, you know, I know that she kind of gets steamrolled on the internet by all sorts of people, all sorts of stories and everything, but Amber Lynn does bite back. Amber Lynn does, come off as an intimidating person. Beck has said that a lot of this intimidation and a lot of this just overall bitchiness is just something that they grew numb to. And it was better to just be blasé about it and say, yes, here, yes, dear. Yes, honey. Okay, I'll go do that for you. Because fighting back, it just wasn't worth it. It just wasn't worth it. So Amber Lynn, using what power and what influence, financial or otherwise, she had at the time, that's kind of where this falls into play right here with the intimidation in terms of how they got their way throughout season 4. I mean, coercion and threats. We have kind of talked about if Amber Lynn was more able-bodied. But I mean, that's just a scenario. That's just a what if. A threat that the most apparent threat that comes to me is the one of like the emotional manipulation that Amber Lynn did with, well, if you leave me, then I'm going to be all alone and no one's going to be here to take care of me. And if you leave me here, then I'm not going to have anybody to take care of me. I'm not going to have anybody to wipe me. I'm just going to be left to my lonesome and I can't take care of myself. So if you don't do it, who will? I mean, threats usually come in the form of a more aggressive approach where people are saying, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to die. That's usually how we think of threats, but isn't that kind of a threat in a way too? It's like the emotional, tripping somebody, like emotional, it is. It's like an emotional trip. Like the weaponized incompetence. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's like, well, you're going to be the one at fault here if you leave. And we know that she did that with Destiny too. If you go and have lunch with your Meemaw and your mom, then we know that she's threatened things like that before. I mean,
so, and because we were already arguing, I was like, I don't want to be around you anyway right now. Like, we were arguing. I wanted to go see my mom. She starts screaming at me from the sliding glass doorway, saying that she's going to harm herself if I leave.
I don't understand people who threaten their partners like this. It is incredibly manipulative. You're guilt tripping them into doing something they do not want to do. Besides, what good did that do anyway? Are you now happy that you forced someone against their will to stay with you?
You know, one of my best friends, and when Amber was living with me, she had it in her head that I was sleeping with her. No. Like, God, no. Never have, never will, never even saw her that way. And so every time I would go to hang out with her, I would, say, hey, can I go hang out with my friend? And she's like, first she would be like weird about it. And then afterwards she was like, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, okay, you're not going to get weird like you did last time, right? Like, you're not going to be like messaging me and everything like that. So I go hang out. And this happened multiple times. I go to hang out with my friend. And then like less than probably like 45 minutes, at least 30 minutes, I get text messages. You need to come home right now or else I'm going to get on a bus and leave you. And I know you're sleeping with her and yada, yada, yada. And it was just like constant. So to the point where me and my friend just couldn't hang out anymore.
I mean, minimizing, denying, and blaming, that's Amber Lynn in a nutshell. Using privilege. Amber Lynn has a lot of resources available to her. Amber Lynn has a ton of opportunities to get therapy, medication, outpatient, inpatient, whatever. Amber Lynn pisses it all away. I mean, one of the opportunities that someone out there is struggling with, they would love to have, but because, of financial access, that's not available for them. So, I mean, Amber Lynn is able to have really good health insurance. She's able to piss away opportunities like these GLP medications like Ozempic and Mounjaro. I mean, she takes one dose. People out there would love to have that opportunity. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of you watching right now that would love to have Ozempic or some other type of medicine that would help you lose weight. Technology and stalking. The biggest example that comes to mind here with technology and stalking is during season 3, when Amber Lynn sent Charla to Destiny's house to take pictures of their driveway when Dana was over at Destiny's. Oh, because Amber Lynn didn't drive at the time. So she had their mutual coworker, Charla, drive over to Destiny's house, take pictures of Dana's car in the driveway and send them to Amber Lynn. And then Amber Lynn would forward those pictures to Destiny and say, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, Amber Lynn loves to say that people stalk her, loves to harass her, loves to do... I mean, I don't know, say what you want about reaction channels, but I'm not taking pictures of Amber Lynn's apartment.
To manipulate people into getting her way in many different scenarios. Even now she is doing that, trying to paint herself to look like as much of a victim as her own victims. She wants me to tuck my tail and run away from this like I've done before, but I won't be doing that this time. First,
that's what Amber Lynn was banking on. Oh, it's Beck. It's Beck. Little piss-ass, anxiety-ridden Beck. Beck isn't going to stand up for themselves. Are you kidding me? I steamrolled Beck for 4 years. You think that Beck is going to come on and fight me on my own platform? Bring it on, bitch. Well, guess what? She's bringing it on, bitch.
Bitch.
Bay.
First, I want to say that I understand if Amber has maybe swayed your opinion of me. It's so easy to get swept up in her confusion and manipulation. I was swept up in it for many years, and you don't have to like me to still hold Amber and people like her accountable publicly for the harm that they cause. I will link some videos in the description for channels that really helped me make sense of this whole mess. But I just ask that you give me a chance to make some points before forming your whole opinion. DARVO is a manipulation tactic often used by narcissists and abusers when confronted about their behaviors and actions. And the narcissist prayer, coined by Dana Craig, used to demonstrate the way the narcissist thinks about their actions. That didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it.
Wow.
Look at this. But I mean, this is kind of the formula that Amber Lynn follows. Never happened. Okay, well, yes. Okay, so like, let's apply this to wiping. Never wiped me. I was never wiped.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Such a fucking lie. Oh my god.
That is not. Okay.
I can wipe myself. I was never wiped. What are you talking about? Okay, I was wiped.
Beck says that they wiped me. Okay, so story time on that.
But it was only after the hysterectomy. I was only ever wiped after the hysterectomy.
When I was about to get my hysterectomy, that was a big thing for me that I was like, how am I?
You guys have to remember, I had cancer. I had a major surgery. I was not able to do that for myself.
How am I going to be able to wipe myself because it's hard already? I'm not going to be able to.
It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big deal. Yes, I was wiped. When you're in a relationship with someone for that long, you do things for one another. When you truly love each other and you're in a relationship for that long, sometimes this kind of things happen. So no, it wasn't a big deal and it wasn't my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. No, I didn't want to be wiped. Okay, yeah, I did want to be wiped.
I have lost the ability to do this. And
No. Lazy. But you know what? I was paying all the bills. At that point, I bought Beck a car.
I bought them a car.
I was letting Beck live for free. I was doing whatever. Beck had the access to the banking. I had to ask for screenshots of the balance. So y'all want to come on here and call me the financial manipulator. Y'all want to come on here and point your finger at me and say I'm the bad guy. Well, what about Beck? You know what? I earned the wiping. Yeah, 9 months of wiping. You know what? To be honest, it should have been longer. It should have been longer. Only 9 months wiping. You know what? You deserved it. You deserved to wipe for 9 months.
I think for someone who claims to not be a narcissist and to only have a few narcissistic traits, these patterns are very similar, if not exactly what she's done and is doing now. However, I don't want you guys to believe I am some perfect victim of Amberlynn Reid. I'm not and have never been perfect before her or after. She continues to say that everyone believes I'm all good and she is all bad. She acts as if I've never been criticized in the past or now. But the truth is, she has never been able to take criticism and still can't handle it. Anyone who has ever had something to say about the crappy things that she has done is against her and has it all.
The crappy things she has done. Interesting word choice, Beck.
all wrong. And it is not just to me, but all of her exes and the majority of her audience and the YouTube community, including
Yeah, I mean, really, are we all wrong? Are we all wrong? No.
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 Yeah.
No.
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 All of Amberlynn's exes, I guess, except for Jade, because Jade didn't really play a part in Girl World. But, I mean, the community sees this. Reaction channels see this. We all see this. Have you ever seen that meme of the person standing in front of, thousands of people, and the little speech bubble above their head says, "Yes, I'm right, you're all wrong." I mean, really, we're all wrong and you're right, Amber. I mean, you are the dysfunctional quarter-ton toxic YouTuber here, but we're all wrong.
Reactive abuse exists within personal relationships, and I'm sure that I've said some inappropriate or mean things to Amber. During fights and arguments, a lot of sensitive things were being brought up, and I can't remember now the things I said, but we were having long-lasting problems in our relationship because of her continued behavior and our situation. Reactive...
When a true victim reacts to it, they may use the reactive outbursts against the victim. Sometimes he does blackmail to gaslight them. It gives the abuser evidence disregarding that it... Okay. Yeah, so this... a good example of this is what Amberlynn said in her live stream last week. Amberlynn came on here and said, yes, this, that, and the other thing about what Beck said about me, but Beck said my family does drugs. Did you guys know that even though all that happened, which she didn't even admit, but you guys need to know that one time Beck called me a fat bitch.
Fat bitch.
And that really hurt my feelings. Even though I had Beck wipe me for 9 months, I took their inheritance and I timed them and made them give me fake lint massages. Did you guys know that Beck one time when they got fed up with me, they said, your family's a bunch of drug addicts. Did you know that Beck said that to me? Good example of what we're looking at here on the screen.
If abuse doesn't mean that you're not being abused.
So then that gives Amber Lynn the evidence that she needs to make her claim. Well, yeah, all this shit went down, but Beck called me a fat bitch, so I guess we're even.
I may not remember saying at least my family didn't do drugs, but that is not representative of my true feelings then or now. I have my own family members, my sister and my aunt, who struggled with their own addictions. My sister's been in recovery for 20 years, and we sadly lost our aunt. I really don't think I would have said those things, but it was a long time ago, and I can't be sure what I said or what she was saying to me before that happened. She showed no proof, and I don't have any either.
So, I mean, I don't really remember. I mean, sometimes they might, but I don't always remember things that I said 3-4 years ago. So, I mean, Amber Lynn didn't show a screenshot that said, fat bitch in a receiving text message. Like, she didn't show a gray received text message that said, okay, well, at least my family doesn't do drugs. Like, she didn't show that. It was kind of like just taking her word for it, the she said kind of thing. But Beck here is at least able to acknowledge that they may have or did say things along the lines of that. So I think that that's very big of Beck to realize, yes, even though Amber Lynn said this, that doesn't give me a free ticket to call her a fat bitch.
Fat bitch.
That doesn't give me a free ticket to say this. I mean, some of you might disagree and think that it's completely warranted, but I guess if like we're thinking about like the whole concept of two wrongs don't make a right.
I don't know where to start, so I'm going to just do what she couldn't do and list out exactly what she lied about in this live stream. Number 1, Amber claimed she never talked about me after the proposal story on her channel. Except she did. She made another video with my name in the title a couple weeks later.
And remember, we talked about this. She called the proposal cringy, awkward. She made fun of it, said that in her mind, when she had always envisioned getting proposed to, the way that it went down was not the way that she was expecting. She said very hurtful things in a sort of not so passive-aggressive way.
She talked about me on her Instagram stories and in her Q&As and in the comments of other people's live streams and videos. She even talked about me to people in her private life, according to Alexis, but I care less about that. The online stuff she knew people would see. And how many times now has she said she is done talking about me or the situation and then talks about it again? I've lost count. Number 2, she says she couldn't access the joint bank account that she had a card to with her name on it. I will continue to get into this more when I cover financial abuse later in this video. Same with buying me a car.
Ooh, I am so excited to hear more about this. The whole couldn't log into the bank account. I mean, I was saying pretty frequently in one of our recent live streams, I want Beck to comment on this. I want Beck to talk about this because there were so many discrepancies and so many holes in Amber Lynn's story about the credit card stuff.
Screenshot B, the banking. A, how much money is in the bank account? B, sends screenshot of account that both of them had access to. She doesn't show a date for when this was, but it seems like it is before she opened her private account with the same bank. I want to reiterate that when we got together, only I had a bank account. She asked to deposit the money she would make from YouTube into my account because
she was too fucking lazy to open up her own. Because what's easier to do? Setting up your, which isn't even a lot of effort in something that every adult needs to do at some point. What's easier to do? I mean, honestly, guys, it all comes down to convenience. It all comes down to Amber Lynn being lazy. What's easier for her to do? Hey, text me your accounting and routing number. I'm going to have my AdSense direct deposited into your bank account. Or spending 30 minutes talking to a financial rep at some bank to open up your own. She's just lazy.
She did not have her own. So this is the only time that she was not able to see what was in the account or access it herself. I don't remember exactly when we went.
And then Amber Lynn used that, spun it, and said, oh, well, look, Beck was actually the one financially manipulating. Beck is the one that had the keys to the kingdom. You were just too fucking lazy to open up your own account. And now she's trying to use that to her advantage. What a piece of work.
Went to the bank, but it was around 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. That day she opened her own private account and also officially had her name put on mine, making my account the joint account that we both had access to. Eventually she had her YouTube checks directly depositing into her private account. But when it was in the joint and when it was in hers, she had full access to both. I only had a card for the joint account that was originally mine. After quitting my job and slowly becoming her full-time caretaker, I had no money of my own going into the account. But nothing was spent without her knowing about it or being the one to spend it herself.
Yeah, so eventually Amber Lynn did get off her ass and open up her own bank account. And then she changed her direct deposits to her private account. So, but she was still on the old account. So the little bit of money that Beck came into contact with, you know, whether it be from doing Uber or whether it be from getting an inheritance or whether it being from an art commission but the point is, the very little money that Beck came into contact with, Amber Lynn had access to both accounts. So Amber Lynn could put her claws into the joint account, and she also had her own private account. So that's shitty. That's shitty, knowing that Amber Lynn had two bank accounts at the time and had access to both. Honestly, what should have happened was Beck should have been on their own bank account after that. It's like, okay, well, now you have your own account, so you don't need access to this one anymore. That's what should have happened. But Amber Lynn stayed on it so that she could control any money that Beck may have gotten put into it. And when the inheritance came in, she immediately had access to the $6,000.
Self. Screenshot B.2 banking. September 2nd, 2021. Only a couple months after breakup, June 19th, 2021. A. You need to open your own bank account. Just open a new one. I'm going to keep this one for now. I need you to start using your own money for redacted and stuff. Plus, when I pay you on this 22nd, I don't want you using this bank account anymore.
Why did Beck... That was Beck's account. Why did Beck need to get off of that account? You know what I mean? Why did Beck need to leave the joint account? So Amber Lynn had two bank accounts at that point. Why did she need her own private one and then the one that she had with Beck? You need to open up your own account? You put yourself on that account to begin with. So you put yourself into someone's account, it becomes a joint account, and then you kick them off? Huh?
B. Then go to the effing bank with me. So I believe that this was when she was urging me to open a new account and take myself off the joint account. That again used to be my account. But I'm pretty sure that I needed her to go with me to the bank to make these changes to the account.
But her ass didn't want to go to the bank. Are you kidding me? She didn't want to take a trip to the bank with Beck. Are you kidding? Yeah, I mean, you sometimes have to go to the bank to iron out the details like this. You can't just do everything over the phone or with email. Go to the bank. No. You just need to figure it out. No, you just need to close the account. You just need to take yourself off.
Asked, what is the worst thing she did to me? And she replies with,
The cruelest thing I ever said to Beck, God, I can't remember a lot of what happened, obviously, but let me think of something.
Jeopardy music.
It's not really what I said, it's just like what I did, like forcing them to like come home quicker and like being annoying about it, you know?
if she truly believes that is the worst thing she put me through in the past 7 years.
Yeah, what about the 9 months of wiping? What about holding the finances over their head? I think the worst thing that I ever did was demand that they come home and being annoying about it over text. Yeah, that's probably the worst. Really, that's the worst. Ah, okay.
Then she is more lost and twisted than I ever realized. Now, as I talk about the screenshots, I need to discuss the journals with you. The journals confused me at first. I barely remember her writing in them the majority of our relationship. She talks about it like she was sitting there reading her journals to me or handing them over whenever she added a new entry. I don't remember ever reading her physical journals. I remember seeing her write down her weigh-ins or goals, and I remember an essay she wrote that she wanted me to read. I also remember her using her journals for stickers and scrapbooking. But beyond that, I wasn't just sitting around and reading her journals for fun. I think it's odd that she's...
Beck had full access to my journals. When they weren't driving sedated to get me fast food or playing choosy, they were reading my journals for recreational value. Yeah, I'm sure that's what was going on, Amber. Someone took the time out of their day to read your boring fuck-ass journals.
Using journal entries to prove anything, and even more odd that it was to prove that she would have let me go through her phone according to her, especially when she lied about having 2 phones and then suddenly had both phones and has kept every single text message and photo ever.
Yeah, do you notice that? I only have one phone. SpongeBob time card 1 second later. So on my other phone... You know, it's amazing that she can find a text message from 4 years ago like that, but can't find Rarity. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't leave the back door open for the phone to run out, just the cat.
Rarity!
Journals up because it reminded me that she had this online secret private journal on her phone and laptop that she says she had for years, probably back when she knew Casey and Crystal. And that was the journal she really never wanted me to see. I wasn't looking to read her journal. I had only asked to go through her phone because of how often she went through mine. I was like, why can't I go through your messages? Who are you talking to? And she would make excuses for why I couldn't look and just needed to trust her. Eventually, I just didn't care anymore. Next, let's talk about the mattress and bed bug.
We zoom in on a Google image of bedbugs. Oh my god. Next, let's get to the bedbugs.
Bug situation. I brought this up in my last live stream as something I was gonna say to talk about later in the video. So of course she had to get ahead of the narrative, and that's fine. It wasn't important who said it first. While Amber was living in the townhouse, she had gotten bedbugs. This was after Destiny and her broke up, and we were seeing each other. The bedbugs could have come from the neighbors. They were horrible at the time. However, Amber let it get bad and pretended not to notice. I had bites all over me. I think she probably did too, but maybe didn't want to admit it. I helped her get rid of them, quarantining her clothes and the mattress, and when she eventually moved in with Eric, Ricky, and I, she asked me to lie to them for her. At the time, I felt like I didn't have a choice because I didn't want her to be homeless, and she begged me not to tell them. I cared about her.
Oh my god. They didn't want them talking about the bedbugs because if Eric and Ricky found out about it, they may have been like, out. So they kept that from Eric and Ricky so that they didn't kick them out. Oh my god. Can bedbugs, I mean, like, I know that bedbugs are like severe. Like, you have to get rid of the mattress. You might even have to get rid of the bed frame. You might have to get rid of like other things in the room. I'd imagine that if left untreated or not dealt with correctly, bedbugs could infest like other rooms, other furniture, a whole house, maybe even. I mean, so the fact that they kept that information from Eric and Ricky, oh, I'd be pissed if that was my house. Oh my god. They follow you everywhere. Oh my god. You can't tell Eric and Ricky. Oh my god. Well, honestly, for the way they acted, I mean, do we feel bad?
And I knew that if I said anything, they wouldn't have let her move in. Eventually, I did tell them the truth, though, and Ricky and Amber had a big fight about it. I should have known.
Oh my god, there was a big fight about it. Amber Lynn really downplayed it when she talked about it in her live stream. She was giggling, she was saying tee-hee, LOL, XD. yeah, bedbugs, haha, not a big deal. So from Beck, we're hearing a very different story. You can't tell them about it. And then Beck finally came clean. I don't know why, but it led to a big fight that, of course, Beck had to be in the middle of because of Amberlynn.
Never lied to them for Amber at the time. Now I want to talk about something really serious with you guys. Talking about DV and SA is an incredibly sensitive topic to handle. While I am a victim of Amber's abuse, I am not a victim of either DV or SA by her hands. In this live stream, Amber makes outrageous claims against the people she's wronged and ignores others. She doubles down on her accusations against Casey with no hesitation because Casey dared to stand up against her. She ignores the allegations of hitting Jade and ignores being inappropriate with Libby. She tries to insinuate that I pressured her into a relationship for sex.
It was just where I've been hurt so much and so deeply. I really blocked myself hardcore from Amberlynn, but I knew I wanted her in my life. That probably was a little selfish, but I was very distant, and sometimes I would be a little, just like standoffish. But one day we got into a really bad fight about it.
The only reason that we know about the knife and what happened with her and Jade and the fight and Amberlynn not being able to get up like a turtle on its back, flailing its arms around. Come on, Amber! Come on, Amber! Come on, Amber! The only reason we know about that is because of Erica. So Amberlynn is okay with Erica hearsay floating around the community because it's never been confirmed. But she's fucked if Jade ever comes out and does something like Beck is doing now.
Or that she pressured me into a relationship. After Amber's cancer scare and hysterectomy, I was the one who took care of her while she was healing. And yes, I was the one who wiped her. But I wiped her plenty before that. I believe from sometime in 2019 to June 2021 when we broke up. Before I started...
Oh, but the wiping was before the hysterectomy too. Oh. The way that it was originally proposed was it was the hysterectomy that kind of caused Amberlynn to not be able to wipe. And then afterwards, Amberlynn never really wanted to take it upon herself to start wiping again. So she just had Beck do it. It was kind of like, well, I had this major procedure, and then we just kind of got into the routine where it was expected of Beck. That's not the way it went down. It was going on before the hysterectomy, too. Oh, good God. See, this is what Amberlynn will do. No wiping. It never happened. Okay, it did happen, but it was just the hysterectomy. All right, it wasn't just wiping of the hysterectomy, but it was after the hysterectomy because I grew accustomed to it. Okay, Beck wiped me before and after the hysterectomy. I mean, it's just, the truth unfolds slowly.
started wiping her, she would use washcloths to wipe.
All right, y'all, here we go. Y'all ready for this? Washcloth gate.
We broke up. Before I started wiping her, she would use washcloths to wipe. She would set them on the corner of the sink, and then she would turn herself around to wipe herself on it. And then she would throw them away. Our roommates started to notice that their late mother's washcloths were disappearing, and they confronted her about...
Wait, hold on. She would lay them out on the corner of the sink, and then she would wipe herself on them. I'm trying to picture that in my head.
Like a bear scratching its back against the tree. What?
She would grind on it.
Like twerking against twerking against the sink. Oh, that's why she used towels instead of tissue paper, toilet paper. What?
She would set them on the corner of the sink,
the
and
corner.
then she would turn herself around to wipe herself on it. Our roommates started to notice that their late mother's washcloths were disappearing, and they confronted her about it, and
Oh my God, so they weren't even her washcloths. She was using... Okay, so in addition to lying to Eric and Ricky about there being bedbugs, she was taking their washcloths, rubbing herself on them like that bear did on the tree, and then would throw them away. No. If you're doing this, you need to be buying your own washcloths. Why are you using their washcloths? Not to mention the washcloths that were owned by Eric or Ricky's mother that had passed away. Why would you think to use their shit like that? For lack of a better word.
she wanted me to lie to them for her, but I didn't. She ended up buying more washcloths for herself, and instead of throwing them away, she had me wash them in the sink
So she put them on this.
and then put them in the washer. Wiping ended up being the less...
Why didn't they just go straight into the washer? Why did Beck have to hand wash them in the sink and then they went into the washer? Here's what happened. Amber Lynn was stealing, like Swiper the Fox from Dora the Explorer. Amber Lynn was stealing washcloths from Eric and Ricky. But then as soon as it got to the point where they caught on and realized what was happening to all their washcloths, Amber Lynn started to buy her own washcloths.
I also needed some more washcloths. Got some washcloths. Becky got an ice tray. I got some more washcloths for the house. Some washcloths. I'm loving this color scheme. She got some washcloths, gray and white. So I'm currently just folding some of, I was gonna call them paper towels. Oh my god, I need to go to bed. What the heck are they called? Washcloths. Hello, welcome to a new vlog. So I just watched the VMAs. Katy Perry popped off. I loved Sabrina Carpenter's performance. Tomorrow is actually the day where I leave. I'm going on a little vacation type deal, and I leave tomorrow at 5 a.m. Literally exactly what I needed, because I still have some stuff that needed like a bag, you know? Like washcloths, the other shit that's on my sink. I keep my little washcloth right there. It's just easy nonsense.
Are you ever going to address the rumor about shatting in Eric and Ricky's shower floor? Amberlynn replied, "Anytime I had an accident, I made sure it was cleaned up and always paid for a plumber if necessary." These rumors have been around for a while and were theorized as a reason that Eric and or Ricky did not really like Amberlynn. Amberlynn wrote years ago on social media, "No idea how, but I just fell in Eric's shower. I went pee and then stood up and was pulling up my pants and just fell. I'm okay, it isn't that dramatic. Was she urinating in their shower too?" Waffle stomp is to defecate in the shower and then proceed to try to stomp it down the drain with your foot.
After what has been disclosed with these washcloths, I wouldn't doubt waffle stomping. I mean, if you're able to take it to that low of a low, waffle stomping has to be something that was on the menu as well.
It's not like what you see on 600 Pound Life. Not for me, at least. So when I clean myself, take off my clothes, take off my bra, take off my panties, turn on my shower, and I walk in that mother shower, I use washcloths. I prefer washcloths. I don't like little like poofy things. I used to, but I just don't. I like washcloths. I feel like they're easier.
And once she was spending her own money on her own washcloths, then it became Beck's responsibility. Well, I'm not going to buy washcloths just to throw them away. If they're someone else's washcloths, that's fine. We can throw them away. I won't have Beck wash them. But if I'm paying for the washcloths, Beck is washing them. How much are washcloths? I mean, like, really, like, what is like a 12-pack of washcloths from Walmart?
lesser of two evils at the time. Amber also said that I only brought her a bucket a couple of times. And that is true, it only happened a couple of times. And that is true, it only happened a couple of times. But I did help her get spots she couldn't reach. And in between the bucket baths, she just didn't shower. I also didn't only brush her hair once either.
She just wouldn't shower. So she took that as her green light. She said, well, Beck brought the bucket in on Tuesday, so I won't have to take a shower until sometime later in the month. It all came down to how much Beck would do. If Beck brought in the bucket on Monday, all right, we were good for a while. If Beck didn't bring in the bucket, all right, we should probably think about showering or getting out the washcloths. I mean, there's this one episode of 600 Pound Life where the most demeaning thing that I had ever seen on television. Like, I cannot believe that this woman had this filmed. But they would take this woman every morning and they would have her go out on the front porch and they would hose her down. Like some type of like livestock. I mean, just the most like, Amberlynn wants to talk about dehumanizing. I mean, that episode of 600 Pound Life, like, seeing that, I mean, hosing somebody down. But yeah, you need to keep up on it every day or else flabs, they cause sweat, bacteria gathers. If you don't do it every day, I mean, especially at that size, I mean, it can become dangerous. So Beck really had to keep up with this. And I mean, it sounds like all the efforts that Beck was making in terms of the washcloth, in terms of the choker cheese, in terms of the brushing of the hair, in terms of all of the maintenance that Beck did for Amberlynn, it still wasn't enough.
Amber, I just wanted you to finally take some accountability for the shit you've done. If I really wanted to humiliate and embarrass you, I would have just done this years ago. The only way to hold you accountable is publicly. Bringing awareness to the abuse and having your audience see between the cracks. Your public live stream wasn't about an apology or healing. It wasn't about breaking your silence. It was about silencing others, especially me. You did not take this seriously. It is inappropriate to laugh when you are talking about other people's trauma, especially when you're the one who caused it. I can laugh about my trauma with friends, but making fun of what your victims have experienced is insensitive and weird. You are trying to convince everyone that I did just as much to you as you've done to me. And since you don't feel abused by me, then I should not feel abused by you. But the difference is, I do feel abused by you, Amber, because you abused me, and you've abused other girlfriends in the past too. Name the worst thing I did to you. Tell me what it is so I can take accountability for it if it was so bad. Because all you've said about me is that I'm a liar.
Well, you've exposed all of the horrible things that I did to you and it made me look bad, so now I'm the victim. All of the maintenance that Beck did for Amberlynn, it still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. You guys would just take a second on YouTube, go ahead and press that thumbs up button. Look at my curved thumb. Come on, look at that.